would you say is like the thing that you love the most about this stuff?
Like about the work or about writing the newsletter?
I would say about the work. I mean, the newsletter is great, and obviously your passion for the stuff shows through. But about the work, I mean, I always like to know people's why. Like, for instance, my why. I want to see people be more successful, and I want them to be less stressed out, because I've seen so many people fail, and what people do when they fail is so similar, and what people do when they're successful is so similar. If I can just help break through some of that stuff to help people out, that's tremendous. And I've also seen people charge a lot of money for this stuff that I've given away for free, and they do a bad job. And I just, every day my inbox is full of people that like want to succeed, and like offering that is amazing. So, I mean, that's my why. Slightly altruistic, but also like my bottom line's covered. And I'd love to know what yours is.
Okay, I understand. I think I have two. The first is that I've been in the e-commerce space since probably like early 2010s. And I think the space, like the macro environment, has changed so much. And it's changed faster than I think a lot of organizations or a lot of people's mindsets have changed. And I think there's like, we were coming from a place where a lot of retail principles were based on the mall and based on this idea that there's always going to be traffic coming in, whether you're a store in the mall or whether you're a brand advertising on Facebook. Like, that's not something that as a marketer you necessarily need to even care about. And that's changed so dramatically. And it means that you have to like think strategically from a different point of view. Excuse me. You need to be prepared to generate your own traffic and like really understand what's going on with your customer base. So helping people unlock that, I think, is one of my whys for sure. The other one is that the lack of understanding there often leads to kind of like team or organizational dysfunction, and preventing that and like helping to build working environments where people are not in like emergency mode 24/7 and have like feel confident that they can shape the future of their business. Like, that is another thing that I am really passionate about.
I love it. Yeah, that confidence. That is such a big piece. I can't tell you how many people like I have calls with folks all the time, and like the one thing that they all want is the confidence. Like, people are like, this one woman, Denise, is just like, I used to like every time I pushed publish on a Facebook ad, I got like sick. I was just like, I couldn't handle it. I sat and like I had to run away and come back in a couple of days. I just literally couldn't handle it. And like that, getting over that stuff is so helpful for individuals. And I love what you said there too. Like, when we started out, like what it was like, was, and I was very much the same way. It was these retail principles being pushed forward. Like, I remember doing like a Subway paid social, and it was literally the print ad from the newspaper on right-hand rail. And we spent like 400 grand in a month, just like smashing that thing, which I guess made sense. And more than that too, I remember I did the launch for season 2 of Schitt's Creek.
Wow.
And the ad was the first episode of the season. A 24-minute long video with no copy, no primary text. And then the headline was just Schitt's Creek season 2 starting Friday at 8 p.m. or whatever on Pop TV. And I think it was Wednesday. But yeah, that was just it. And there was a 24-minute like cold open season 2 for Schitt's Creek. And like, I feel like that's where we came from. And I don't know about you, how you feel about this, but I feel like a lot of stuff is still very residual from the email-driven, retail-driven mindset. Like, I don't know what you think about that, but like, I still see that in everywhere where we come from, with so many strategies that we're coming up with, the customer journey and the multi-touch and the overcoming objections and the pitches and the strategies and the targeting and all of this stuff. Feels like 2011 Google, or like 2005 email, like at best. And it just doesn't make sense in the modern days. I don't know what you think about that, but when you said about what it was like and where we started, I totally agree with you. What do you think about like how that has shifted to now?
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think what's tricky is a lot of our understanding of digital marketing has been shaped by people who offer, you know, free tools and free training, and that primarily has been Google, like especially for the first chunk of the 2010s, and that's really it's been good and bad. Like it's flattened our understanding of what's going on when we run a marketing campaign, but it also made it incredibly accessible for a lot of people and empowered a lot of people to start their own businesses. So like there's a trade-off. And when you're moving away from that kind of more simplified way of thinking about things like last click analytics, like we ran a campaign and we spent $1 and we got $5 back, what's tricky is like it makes marketing harder when you shift from last click to doing like holdout testing. You start to realize that a lot of what you thought was really impactful actually isn't, and then you're like, oh gosh, am I a bad marketer? Like, how do I move forward from here? So it's hard to convince people. You know, it's like a take your medicine thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you do look at things from that perspective, like the long-term benefit for your business is going to be a lot greater, but you need to kind of like relearn the basics. Like, how do you build a campaign or a program that really changes customer behavior? And that's, you know, that's kind of like the decision that a lot of people are confronting at this point.